Hello and welcome to another video on the series of neuroanatomy videos. And this video is a very important video in terms of professional exams of first year MBBS because and MCQ exams if they happen, because cross sections at the level of brainstem are a sure short question that comes in the form of diagrams. And even in MCQs you will find questions on the cross section as to what is the nuclei labeled, what is the tract passing, what is the significance. So in this video we will be uploading 3 videos in total for this particular topic. In the today's video I'm talking about medulla. In another video we'll be talking about cross section at pons, and in the third video we will be talking about cross section at the midbrain. So I will try to summarize everything for you and make it easy for you so that you can revise it again and again with the diagram. It's only, you don't need to go through the full length paragraphs and points to learn every time. You can just see this video and it will be done in about in a very less time. So without any delay, let's start. Okay, so this picture that I've put here, this picture is of our brainstem as we see it from the anterior side of a person. Okay, so this that you see here, just a second, this that you see here is our upper part of the brain. This is the pons. Okay, then we have the midbrain above it, and here we have the medulla. What is this A and B that I have labeled? This A and B that I have labeled, this A and B is the sites at which we cut the medulla to see the sections important to us. Why are we choosing these sections? Because these are the sections where changes will take place. If something is continuous throughout, we don't need to see every 0.5 centimeter of section, no. So where changes take place, there is the point where we see the cross section. So let me tell you what is why is A important and why is B important in terms of the brainstem. So at the level of A we have pyramids. Let me tell you what are pyramids. Pyramids are basically sites where the corticospinal tracts cross in the brainstem. The corticospinal tracts are coming from the cortex and going to the spinal cord, right? I hope everybody knows that. It comes from the cortex, that is cortico, and goes to the spinal cord, corticospinal tract. But it does not go straightly. It first comes over here, and you see that there are some fibers crossing over here in the medulla. Here these fibers cross to the opposite side and then they run downwards towards the spinal cord. So this is why this level is very important. This is known as the pyramidal decussation level, where the pyramids cross. Section B is at the level of olives. Olives are the points, the areas below which, underneath which, where there is the olivary nucleus, which is involved in our auditory pathway. Okay, so this is what we are going to discuss. Okay, moving on. Here we have our I put 2 pictures of the posterior side of the brainstem and the anterior side of the brainstem. We will keep referring to it as we go through the sections. Okay, so the lower medulla we are discussing first. We will go from down to up. So this is the first picture, that is the lower medulla. This picture is from our Vishram Singh neuroanatomy book. It is a very good diagram, quite summarized, and I think it's easy to learn also, so I have put this picture. I will try to summarize everything for you. So first of all let me tell you the orientation of the diagram. This is the dorsal side and this is the ventral side. Okay, now we will discuss all the labelings, the most important labelings. Okay, as I told you, why is this level important for us? Because here is the pyramidal decussation that happens. As I told you, the corticospinal tracts are coming from our cortex and going to the spinal cord, and at the level of pyramids in the medulla they cross. So see, as you can see, they are crossing. You can easily see that here they will cross and then they will run downwards. This is a 2D picture. You have to imagine things in 3D, that here these tracts will cross and then they will go downwards towards the spinal cord. See, I have cut it from here like this. Now if I to rotate the section on the screen like this, it will appear like this. The pyramids, that is the corticospinal tracts, have crossed at this level. Okay, corticospinal tracts are responsible for carrying out movements that we do. We walk, we talk, everything that we walk, we run, we ride, all of these things are responsible because of the corticospinal tracts. Okay, next we have the spinocerebellar and spinothalamic tracts that I want to tell you about. See, spinocerebellar tract and lateral spinothalamic tract. Spinocerebellar means what? Spino means spinal cord and cerebellar means cerebellum. So it has to do with some fibers which are coming from the spinal cord and going towards the cerebellum, right? And they are of two types. They are dorsal and they are ventral. So on the dorsal side you will see the dorsal spinocerebellar tract, and on the ventral side you will see the ventral spinocerebellar tract. Medial to it we have the lateral spinothalamic tract. Spinothalamic tract is again which is coming from the spinal cord and going to the thalamus. And as we know that lateral spinothalamic tracts carry pain and temperature from the contralateral part of the body. They have crossed somewhere in the spinal cord. So if this is a person, like, please don't judge my drawing, but if this is a person and this is his spinal cord, okay, and suppose okay, this is a person and this is his spinal cord. If he is having pain in the left hand, fibers will come on the left side, but they will not run like this. They will cross and then they will run upwards. Okay, this is what happens. I will rub this bad diagram. Okay, so we've covered lateral spinothalamic tract also. It is lateral spinothalamic tract, so it is present laterally, but it is present medial to the spinocerebellar tract. Okay, then I will move on to this important structure, that is nucleus gracilis and nucleus cuneatus. Now if you know, there is a fasciculus gracilis and a fasciculus cuneatus which runs in our spinal cord towards the dorsal side, and they carry all the proprioception and stereognosis and all those sensations from our upper and lower limb towards the brain, and they carry sensations from the ipsilateral side only, not from the contralateral. They do not cross. Now again, if I draw my bad diagram for you all, if this is a person and if his nerves have to carry proprioception from left side, then left side nerves will come and they will go straight up through the dorsal column. That is this is the dorsal column that we are talking about, present dorsally. So they will not cross, they will come from the left side and they will travel on the left side, they will go up on the left side only. Okay, this was about it. If you want, I can tell you that nucleus cuneatus carries fibers from the upper limb and nucleus gracilis carries fibers from the lower limb. Okay, so the tract is coming over here in the nucleus gracilis and cuneatus. This one labeling that is left over here is the spinal tract and spinal nucleus of trigeminal nerve. If you want, we can make a video on trigeminal nerve which will explain whole course of trigeminal nerve and its nuclei. It is a very important topic again for first years and for anybody, because trigeminal nerve itself is a very important nerve for the face, for the head and neck. So spinal tract is a collection of fibers that is running towards the trigeminal, basically in connection with the trigeminal nerve, and spinal nucleus is where it synapses. So for details of this, I think you should wait for a video on trigeminal nerve, but most important things I have covered, and this is very important, that this is the level of pyramidal decussation. Okay, now what else is left? Reticular formation runs in the brainstem, and it is basically responsible for awakening and attention of a person. That is all that you need to know at your level. Okay, coming to upper medulla. Upper medulla is at the level of olives, and olives is the first thing that I will label for you. As you can see, this is the olive, and this is the olive. Okay, or inferior olivary nucleus basically, and this is a part of our auditory pathway, and this is the level at which upper medulla cross section is seen and studied. Moving on to the other important structures, this diagram you need to practice and practice because it is very you can see that there are many labelings. Now, as you know that fibers running in the corticospinal tract were crossing in the lower medulla, right? But where were they running? On the upward side. They are running like this. They are running normally and then they are crossing and then they are running downwards horizontally. Okay, and this is the way that the fibers were coming from upwards location, and then they were crossing towards the opposite side. Okay, moving on. Now you can see this nucleus gracilis and nucleus cuneatus. Now the fibers that were coming from our upper limb and the lower limb have come here. As you can see, these are the fibers. They will cross with these respective nucleus. The fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus will cross with the respective nucleus, and after crossing, what happens is that they cross to the opposite side. See, fibers from nucleus gracilis, first time drawing, they are crossing to the opposite side. And gracilis is what? Lower limb. Gracilis has L in it, so you can remember from that it is for lower limb. Okay, and nucleus cuneatus has U in it, so it is for upper limb. I hope that it was somehow easy for you. Okay, so gracilis is lower limb. From the lower limb, the fibers are going and running anterior to the fibers that are coming from the upper limb. So the fibers from upper limb are running behind the fibers from lower limb. So as a point of representation, the fibers from lower limb will run in the anterior side and the fibers from upper limb will run in the posterior side. So after basically crossing and synapsing, the second order neurons will run in this particular band of collection of fibers of nerves, which is specifically known as the medial lemniscus. Whenever you hear the word medial lemniscus, you can immediately say that they are second order neurons from our nucleus gracilis and nucleus cuneatus, and they are second order neurons after the dorsal column. Okay, this important labeling has been covered. Then I want to show you this important structure here that you can see is the hypoglossal nucleus. Okay, hypoglossal nucleus, I can actually show you how it is present in the upper medulla. You can see that this is the diagram of our medulla. Now let me show you the hypoglossal nerve that is coming out from here. See, hypoglossal nerve coming out on the anterior side, and if we look it from the posterior view, we have this. Okay, hypoglossal nerve is coming out from here, so obviously the nucleus is somewhere inside this area, so this is where the nucleus is. Okay, moving on. These I have already covered: spinocerebellar tract, lateral spinal thalamic tract, so I won't talk in detail about this. Reticular formation also I have covered. Next we have this also I have already told you: spinal tract and spinal nucleus of trigeminal nerve. What is left is the nucleus tractus solitarius and the dorsal nucleus of vagus. This has been the function has been covered in the video on neural columns. Here I will just like to recapitulate that nucleus tractus solitarius is a sensory nucleus and dorsal nucleus of vagus is a motor nucleus. If you remember this, that is fine. Okay, so I have covered all the labelings here also. I hope that the video could help you summarize everything and could help you learn the function of the structures in the medulla through cross sections. If you have any doubts, please comment and I will try to get back to you with a solution to it. And I hope you liked the video. I hope it helped you in some way. Please like the video, share the video with your friends, and please subscribe.